reason most modern actors aren't really nailing their Shakespeare today, and it's not a talent problem. In this video, I want to walk you through 3 things that are stopping you doing your best Shakespeare performance, and I want to give you the practical tools to fix them. Number 3 is the really big one that most people don't really understand, so stick around for that. If you don't know me, I'm Sarah. This is Shakespeare with Sarah. My goal is to cut through the overwhelm and the elitism around Shakespeare so you can land lead roles, get into drama school, and just overall nail your performance. So let's do this. Okay, so the bigger picture problem here before we break it into 3 parts is that actors don't really know what good Shakespeare looks, sounds, and feels like today. And again, it's not a talent problem. It's not even really a training problem. A lot of it is actually an exposure problem. So number 1 thing that you're up against to start with is that you probably have only seen a really small slice of what Shakespeare actually looks like today in a professional context. A lot of the time, actors are only exposed to one type of Shakespeare. And Shakespeare actually varies wildly in the way that it's performed. And so if you're only ever seeing this little slice, you're really not going to be able to make conscious choices about the way you perform, and you're always going to feel like you're missing things. So let me give you some examples of that. Some people have only ever seen, let's say, like outdoor Shakespeare in the Park style stuff, which is going to be naturally bigger, louder, maybe what we might call over the top, because it needs to be for that big space. But that is only one little slice of what Shakespeare looks like today. You also get much more pared back versions for film and TV. You also get more naturalistic versions for smaller, more intimate theatre spaces. And you might even sit outside that if you are preparing for drama school auditions where they really want to see you be your most truthful while working with heightened text. So that's a real challenge of balancing these different things. I've got lots of videos on this. Look at my Get Better at Shakespeare playlist if I'm blowing your mind, but we're going to walk through this in detail, so keep on with me. When you're learning to act Shakespeare, one of the best things you can do is watch and listen to as many productions as possible. Ideally, a mix of live theatre productions and recorded productions. I've got a free guide that walks you through where you can find all these things with the links and everything. If you want that, it's in the description. But just as a starting point, look at online productions through platforms like Marquee TV, Digital Theatre, Broadway HD, the Globe Player. What else am I missing? You can get a lot of the Stratford Festival productions on Amazon now for a couple of bucks. Those platforms will cover the live theatre, which is really, really great to watch. And you can also watch stuff like Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet and Much Ado. It's still awesome to watch now. If you're watching live stuff, challenge yourself to see it in different venues and from different companies. If you can go to an outdoor one, great, you'll see a particular style. Go to something that's also in a smaller venue and see how is this different. Seeing that wide variety really gives you the spectrum of how Shakespeare is performed today. But there's something that you got to keep in mind along the way, and that brings me to reason 2 that you don't know what good Shakespeare looks like. It's because there's a lot of bad Shakespeare out there, and I say that with absolute love. It is often the case that Shakespeare is performed by amateur companies because we need a lot of people in the cast, and that's hard to do at a professional level. However, if you want to learn to be really good at Shakespeare, you need to watch the best quality performances that you can. Now, there are heaps of amateur companies out there doing an amazing job, but they may have some traditions that aren't actually indicative of what's happening in the professional industry today. For example, putting on an English accent or some sort of fancy voice. That is a no-go these days, but it's very common on the amateur level. So one of the most useful things you can do is look at those online platforms where they have productions from the National Theatre, Royal Shakespeare Company, and the Globe. If you can actually watch one from each of those companies, even if it's not the production that you're working on currently, you will see high quality, but a really big variety in style. So you're going to notice those differences, as well as looking at, these are 3 examples of really, really good quality performances most of the time. And just as my personal opinion, I often think that National Theatre is maybe leading the way in terms of the most grounded, truthful style performances. That's just my opinion at the moment, and it depends on the production. But especially for the people that are working towards drama school auditions, I would look at National Theatre at Home. It's got some fun stuff on there also. It's just fun. And number 3, the biggest thing that is getting in your way is that you don't know what good Shakespeare actually feels like. And this is the thing with all of acting, right? Is that until we get to that point where we go, oh, that's it, we don't know. Guessing. The best thing that you can do is go to class, work with a really, really good teacher, but you need to be getting in the body. You need to remember that with Shakespeare, knowing is not the same as doing. Sometimes people read a bunch of stuff and they're like, yeah, I know so much, but actually they don't really know how to do it. That happens a lot. So you really need to be getting it in the body regularly. You need to be getting feedback. And I want to give you a little bit more insight around this. So in case you are DIYing, if you've got no one to help you and you can't get to a class, I still want to give you stuff that you can do at home. So firstly, I want you to tap into a mindset thing, and then I'm going to give you some physical things to do. The mindset thing is stop thinking of Shakespeare as over the top. Most people at some level think Shakespeare is big, theatrical, over the top, larger than life. It's true that Shakespeare is heightened. It's not supposed to be every day, but the most useful way to think about it is that Shakespeare is energized. When we perform Shakespeare, we need to have a lot of energy in the body and be free from tension. Most people are struggling with some side of that. Either they don't have enough energy going on, usually because they really don't want to be over the top, so they're kind of reducing it and it becomes very flat, or they're kind of tense. They're pushing it because they know they're supposed to have energy, but they're not quite sure how to get there, right? And then it becomes very arm wavy or fake or forced. So those are the terms that I usually use to help you think about which side of the spectrum do I tend to fall on. Do you tend to end up flat? You're reducing, you're trying to be casual about it, you don't want to be over the top. If you're someone that loves the language and you're probably a theatre kid, you are probably on the forced side. I am a forced person, right? And everyone's got a default, so you're one or the other. Once you understand which side you kind of gravitate towards, it's easier to then adapt, to watch out for your habits that aren't serving you, to understand what you need to do next. So firstly, self-awareness is key. If you're not sure, go and talk to a teacher, come to one of my classes, and actually I'll be teaching this concept in detail in my summer Shakespeare, which is coming up soon. So come to that, it's super fun. But for all of you, one of the most useful things you can do is to move your body more when you rehearse. That does not mean you need to get on stage and wave your hands around. The most useful thing you can do to bring up your energy and also to keep yourself free from tension is to walk around or run around or jump up and down when you rehearse. If you're getting very tense, you can shake, you can dance. Gotta make it fun, that's important too. But just movement is the enemy of tension. When you're rehearsing, you are in a constant loop of bringing energy up and releasing tension. That is for all of us all the time. And the more you become aware of that, the easier this becomes, and the more likely that you're gonna have that moment where you're like, whoa, that text just poured out of me. And that's when it becomes really fun. This is actually the bread and butter of actors today. We need to know how to navigate tone. That's all this is. Knowing how to dial your performance up and down instead of doing everything the same way is what we learn in Shakespeare. And that's what makes Shakespearean actors great actors. One of the many things, and that's also what we do in Summer Shakespeare. So come to that, come and work with me. Drop your questions in the comments. I'm here for you. All right, that's enough. Bye.